Yeah, tons. We get like probably one request every other month for like an internship from college students, and they just want to do something with the industry, you know, and get into it. But no, I think people on the outside who aren't fully in it, I think they do think it's bigger than it is, you know.
Right.
And we got a lot of tools and stuff, but we're still not as sophisticated as, I don't know, say like an airplane or something like that, you know. So I got hired as a sales rep to start off with, and at the time, like, the kite was kind of less than par on performance, and I just started kind of tinkering with the kite and working with the R&D team at the time. And
I wish I had just gone out and ridden
through, like, it was mostly bridling, so we played with the bridles and just tweaked them and kept on tweaking and testing and riding, and came up with something a lot better. And then so I got a little bit more involved with the R&D process, and then the next kite we came out with, it was me and Dano C. We worked a lot on that. Was a Turbo 2s, and yeah, basically me and him, we pushed those out, and that at the time became a good kite for us. So from then it started the whole. I was doing both at the time, sales and R&D, and then since then it's kind of just like slowly migrated towards R&D, to where now it's just full-time R&D.
Right.
It's pretty collaborative. Some projects he'll do more work, and some I'll do more. But I mean, he's the chief designer, so he oversees everything from, you know, the kites to the kite boards to the wakeboards, and he oversees kind of everything. So I'm in the position where my focus is kites. So I'll do you know, most of the grunt work and the day-to-day stuff, just taking them out, testing them, tying string, changing bridles, also working a lot with the files. So he kind of just approves like everything I do and tells me that, nah, that's no good, or that's good, or whatever, you know. So yeah. Well, I think first of all it starts with kind of just listening to what the market is asking for. So you start with that, and from there you kind of work off what you know. So you take like an older, like last year's design, and then add the modifications that you think will make it work and get the results that you want to for what the market wants. And that's kind of like the safe, typical route to take for a project. And then always at the same time too, we always kind of add in a little bit like out of the box kind of concepts, and sometimes those will hit and sometimes those will miss. So, but for one, like say for instance, like for one project, you know, like we're gonna start a new kite model. Typically, we'll make probably, you know, anywhere from probably around a dozen different prototypes of like say like a 9, with all different kinds of shapes and outlines and profiles and all that. And then from there we'll kind of pick a winner if there is one, and then after that then we refine that and just keep on bridling. And once we're to that point, then where we feel like something's good and we're getting good feedback from like you know, the people we test with, then we'll take it and make a full size run, and then individually with every single kite just fine tune every kite so that, you know, it fits for its size and its intended wind range and all that. So it's ongoing all the time, yeah. But on the good side, it'll take maybe 3 months. On the longer side, it may take, you know, 6 to 9. So right now our kites are to the point where we're making smaller refinements right now, so it doesn't take as long. It's on the shorter side, but which is good for us now too, because now we can kind of expand into outside the box ideas and kind of put a little bit more energy towards that, and come up with something, you know, hopefully new and innovative. It really comes down to the timeline of the project. Like, we have certain release dates that we want to release kites, so that kind of drives our decision making as far as like how hard to pursue a project. But usually we'll have like a couple different ideas running at the same time, because there's time in between prototype rounds to where you can have kind of like plan A and concentrate on that, but plan B, you're thinking plan B might be kind of different, maybe slightly iffy, but you keep that running just in case, and maybe it'll beat plan A. So you can kind of run a couple different ideas at the same time and see which one wins. First things we're looking at really is just how it's holding a structure in the air. So the structure and stability. So those are the two things that are the most important parts of the kite. You know, I mean, you don't want a kite that's going to deform when it's overpowered, and you know, you want something that's stable so it doesn't you know, fall out of the sky for a consumer. So with those two things are the most important things that we look for when we first start out.
I guess it's really good. I've got a lot of
but it's interesting because like a lot of the stuff is kind of getting, you know, there's lots of different disciplines in it now, and like say maybe for racing, like you might have something for like dedicated experienced race guys right now that maybe won't be the most stable and friendly for just everyday riding, but it could provide like a really good advantage in the racing to someone who's an experienced kite flyer and knows how to handle kites. So, but in general though, I mean, the stable, friendly kites are the ones that are going to wind up still being the best for all that stuff.
Laura told me that you're a CPA.
Oh, you know what? No, actually not certified.
Oh, okay.
I took the test a few times and like missed it by a couple points every time. I studied for like a week. You know, you're supposed to study for like 3 to 6 months before the test. I always studied like 1 week before, and I was always a few points off. So if I studied for 2 weeks, I probably would be certified by now. But yeah, so but my degree's in accounting. I had a kind of a computer science background before that, but I kind of switched to business and accounting, and I got my degree in that, and went to work for a CPA firm, and was doing that for like 2.5 years, and at the end of that period, like I was looking at my managers and going like, man, I don't know if this is for me. Just like looking at all the time they put in, and like it consumed their lives, and I was like, I don't know if I can live that way, you know. And so I kind of kept my head down. I was good at what I did, but they finally saw like I didn't really have any interest in like progressing and moving up the ladder. So then I got laid off of that, and then from there I went to work for a surf shop, all surf industry, and did kite lessons, and eventually helped manage a shop and all that. And from there, Slingshot found me and hired me to do the Northwest sales rep position. And yeah, and like I said before, then I started just, you know, playing with the R&D guys and helping them out, and then it turned into this. So like the CP, like the good thing about like the accounting degree that I have is that there's a lot of information and tracking involved in the testing and in the development. So that's kind of been kind of an asset for me in that sense, because kind of Tony's like, he's the mad scientist. He's got great ideas and a real free thinker. But when it comes to just organizing the project and just making sure like everything's consistent from round to round and all the way to production, then I step in and help them out a lot with that. So yeah, I was in a band for like 7 years. I was in an island reggae band. Everybody's from Hawaii, and yeah, it was great. And I mean, shoot, I kind of started playing music late, like back in college, basically. I mean, everybody in Hawaii grows up playing the ukulele at some point, but I never really got into music until college, so it was real late. And my goal was just to play for a crowd. My goal was to play for a crowd that meant to come and see me. Yeah. You know, that was it. And then I was just, that would have made me happy. But then I hooked up with these other guys, Kaloku Holt and his brother, Keave, and kind of started this little project, just messing around, jamming, and then that turned into small gigs here and there. And then eventually we had this Monday night gig. It was every Monday in Vancouver, Washington, and yeah, you wouldn't believe it until you saw it, but it was like at its peak, it was good. It was a good like 300 people crowd on a Monday night. You know, it was a good time. Yeah, fortunately with that kind of background, it fits in perfect with what I do, because it's just as much an art as it is a science, you know. So you do have to, you know, be creative in the sense that, you know, coming out with new ideas and new performance goals and those kind of things for the kites. But at the same time, you need to keep track of, you know, all the specs, and the specs are super important. So the whole accounting and music thing, the art versus the art and creativity mixed with the analytical side of things, it just kind of meshes back and forth. Like sometimes it'll be 50-50, and then sometimes it'll kind of lean one way or the other. But you just kind of have to roll with whatever the product requires at the time, the project requires. Yeah. We definitely keep our eye on. Yeah, what other companies are doing and kind of the direction they're taking, and now it seems to be the point where it's pretty level. It's slow growth right now with the innovation. I'm sure there's something that's going to come out that's going to be innovative and revolutionary at some point in the future here. But right now, we kind of keep our eye on it, and if something does gain traction in the competition, yeah, we'll take a closer look at it and make sure we get, you know, all the information we can, try to get our hands on the kite, fly it. So we're never like really like spying on guys and taking photos. It's usually when after it comes out and gets released, you know. So, but because we've got too much work as it is. You know, I think it's I think it really comes down to most of all who you know, and you know, if you want to go that route, you just got to start building relationships with you know, people in the industry. So that's the first thing to do, and from there, you know, I think if you want to go that route, you want to be a good rider, know what you're talking about, of course, and you know, have experience flying probably a lot of different styles and brands and models. I mean, if you're good on the computer, you can learn all the CAD and all the CAD and computer stuff relatively easy. So that's not a huge deal on that part. Unless you want to get into designing like parts and pieces, then you might need a little bit more training with some 3D programs. But otherwise, yeah, it just comes down to you know, building relationships with people in the industry, and seeing if you can help out, because I'm sure like a lot of companies, yeah, they could definitely use help, you know, and if you're willing to kind of take the time and kind of do kind of an intern thing without pay or something like that, I mean, I'm sure a lot of companies would be able to work something out. Yeah.